if you are struggling with figuring out the difference between selling and marketing a normal product to the masses versus industrial or technical stuff, then on this episode, we're going to go through the main differences and how to overcome those issues.
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it. Quitting was never an option. Exhausted. This passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Sales is sales, marketing is marketing. It's all the same, kind of, right? So like, in order to sell somebody, you have to have a product, you have to have a service, you have to have something that they perceive is more valuable to them with them having than the money in their pocket. That is 100% true. Trust being the first thing that you need to close any sale, or to have a sale, you have to have trust. You have to, as a consumer, whether you're consuming something that you're buying through Amazon, or you're a consumer and you're at work and you're going to buy a new service, buy whatever it is, right? Change suppliers, things like that. There has to be trust. So there is some foundation. On the marketing side, you have to provide value. You have to have good content. You have to have it consistently, things like that. Those are the same. But where people mistake is that they follow people or read books, and they say, okay, what this person is saying in this book, what this person is saying in their content, this video that I watched, I'm going to apply those exact principles to my business. And that is just a huge mistake that people make, because you have to look at everything that you learn and after you consume it, look at it from the standpoint, like, how does this apply to my situation? So if you know that trust is the number one thing to have a sale happen, you have to have trust. There's no way avoiding that. And you listen to somebody and he's like, this is how you get trust. You go through this step process, and somebody else says something different. You still have to look at those situations and say, okay, well, how does that apply to my situation? How do I build trust as a technical salesperson? Because what I'm doing is different than what they're saying. They're saying selling cars. They're saying selling consumer products. They're saying selling stuff on Amazon. It's so different, but at the foundation, the basis of it, there are those common things. And I just really want to drive that home to people, that regardless of who you're getting information from, regardless of the expert that you're watching, whether it's me or somebody else, you have to understand that if they're not directly in your space, they do have some value there, but you have to look at it from the standpoint that that is a strategy, that is a theory, that is a foundational baseline piece. But that doesn't literally mean that if you read like Seth Godin's books, or if you read a marketing person's books, that they say Facebook ads is where it's at, and Facebook is the next thing, and that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And then you put it through, you put your glasses on in your situation for industrial, you're going to look at it and be like, that may be true for most industries, but that's not true for ours. Technical salespeople, handling objections, things like that. Are there objections in every sale and throughout the sales process? 100% there are objections. Objections from a standpoint that most objections that anybody says to you is you haven't proved to them that what you're trying to sell me has enough value for me to stop making excuses as to why I don't want to purchase it. It could be something like, well, your team's not big enough, or you're not experienced enough, or something like that. So the salesperson hasn't done their job to prove it. Maybe you can't prove that what your product works in that space. But from an objection standpoint, there always going to be an objection, but it's how to overcome those objections and how to overcome those issues of providing value that are different in niches. So let's talk about the niche. Let's talk about the niche of technical sales, industrial marketing. Like, this is very specific. You could get more niche down if you say in technical sales, in SaaS, in this type of product range and stuff like that. But for the most part, there's not a lot of people out here that are talking about technical sales, industrial marketing, manufacturing marketing, things like that have experience in this niche. This is exactly why we create content, because there is nobody that's doing it on a consistent basis. So we saw a need, right? That's the number one thing of marketing and sales is there's a problem. I have a solution for that problem, and I'm going to get attention and maybe get money from it by solving that problem, right? So there's a problem in this space, is that there's not people in technical sales or industrial marketing that are producing enough content to provide value. And that's where like it's different. It's different from the standpoint that like engineers want to be talked to and marketed to a certain way. Commodity managers and people in purchasing want to be talked to and marketed to a certain way. It's not the same as trying to convince somebody to buy a new set of tools. It's not the same as convincing somebody to upgrade their home security system. It's just not the same. The same things don't work. The foundation does work, right? So from a marketing standpoint, the foundation of right now in 2022, you have to create content. There's no thing around that. You have to either create written content or video content. That is the only way to stand out. The more that you do it, the more brand awareness you're going to get, the more attention you're going to get. Money follows attention. It's a very simple process. But it's what kind, then you get into the weeds of it. You know that you have to create content, but what kind of content? That's where you can turn to an agency like MFG Tribe, and we handle all that for you because this is all that we do is industrial marketing. Or you can try and figure it out yourself and then just tell people what you want it to look like. But if at the foundation, you know if that works, you have to then apply it to your situation. And you know, an engineer wants to see certain things, an operation person wants to see certain things, purchasing wants to see certain things. There's different value propositions for you solving their problems. There's different pain points that they have. From a sales standpoint, with technical salespeople, you know, as I've said numerous times, the first step in sales is you have to understand the problem that they have in order to provide a solution to that problem. You're not in there trying to show up and throw up and pitch to them, here's everything that we could do. Which thing do you like the most? You just go into it and have a conversation and say, hey, look, what are the top 3 things that are causing you issues on a weekly basis right now with your supply chain? What are 2 problems that you have with your computer system or your IT or your security, whatever it is that you're selling that's technical? Asking them questions first, getting them to tell you those pain points, and then delivering them a solution is the way to do it. Now, the solution is going to be different because the pain points are different with somebody that's a commodity manager, an engineer, operations, plant management, like anything. There are similarities when you get into that cross-departmental stuff. Operations and plant managers, very similar, basically under the same umbrella. They're going to have similar pain points, similar issues. They're going to want to hear similar types of things, but that's different than what you're going to do to pitch to somebody in supply chain. Right? Supply chain cares about different things. They have different pain points. They want to hear certain things coming out of your mouth, whether it's from marketing or sales. They want to see something different. So you have to understand, knowing that they want to see something different, you have to market to that. Now you could say like the whole, oh, that's just, you know, persona marketing, right? I'm going to create a persona and it's Sally, the supply chain specialist, and Sally, the supply chain specialist cares about this, and that. Yeah, that's a great process to go through to identify those personas and say, this is how we're going to market to her different. Now, if you're creating a blanket piece of content, you can market that to all of them as long as the content is engaging. It's not some corporate overview video with elevator music that goes on for 4.5 minutes where it's just rah, rah, this is what we do. Is it providing any sort of value to that person? So you have to look at it from the standpoint that your niche is very particular. It's very specific. And you may say, oh, all niches are like that. Yeah, but industrial and technical and manufacturing, it's so specific. And if you've been in this industry for a long time, you know what I mean. Like whether it's dealing with the personalities of older generation versus younger generation, things that they value, things that they don't, things they care about on a daily basis, issues that they have, problems they have. They don't want to see an email marketing piece that looks like a Home Depot ad or a Bed Bath and Beyond ad, where it's just graphics, images, video links, all that stuff, center justification. They don't want to see that. Their IT system most likely will kick that out and not even show it to them because they're going to think that it's spam. So you have to go into it knowing that the niche is specific. So you have to market to those personas. You have to market to their potential pain points. How do you know the pain points, Kyle? Well, if you're in marketing and you don't know the pain points, go ask the salespeople. Like this division between sales and marketing that's been going on forever in industrial is ridiculous. Just go ask the salespeople, hey, Joe, what's 3 conversations you had this week with a potential customer and what did they say their pain points were? Okay, cool. I'm going to jot that down. Go ask somebody else. Next week, ask the same thing. Track it on a spreadsheet to then see what are the pain points and how am I going to market to these pain points? You don't want to just take one person's word because he may have had the exception to that, not the rule. He may have had one person that's like, all I really care about is this, and this is my pain point. Don't create a whole campaign and a whole marketing piece around that until you have some validity behind it to where people are, yes, that's me too, basically. But you have to go and have those conversations to understand how to market to them. And that's really where the steps to take are. You have to first understand that your industry is different, right? The way that they want to be talked to, the issues that they have, they are different when you get into the specifics. At the core, they have a problem. They're looking for somebody to solve it. If you have that solution and they find value in it, they will give you money for you to provide them with that solution. If you're good at servicing the customers, they will increase your money. If you're good at servicing the customers and continue to provide value, not just in the beginning, but continue to provide value, then they will continue to spend money with you, and they won't change the solution to their problem at any point in time, right? That's the basics. So you have to start with that these are the steps you have to take. You're solving a problem. Now, how are you going to market? You have to focus on the areas that work for this industry. You have to put yourself in their shoes. As a supply chain person, what are they dealing with? They're dealing with a ton of emails. Guess what? Your emails aren't going to go through and get to the top of their inbox, right? Operations people or plant managers that are always on the floor. Are they checking their phones a lot? They're not, because they're usually dealing with fires in the plant. Not literal fires, but you know what I mean, right? So like they're dealing with issues. So how are you going to get a hold of them? Maybe you'll see them at a trade show. Maybe sending them something in the mail is going to work easier because they're not checking the emails. You can pick up the phone and call them. You can also find them on LinkedIn during their downtime, because all these people always have their ears to the ground, typically, of a new opportunity, a new job. That's where LinkedIn comes in. They're not consuming content on LinkedIn, these job functions of like engineering operations. They're not consuming it at hours of a day. They're in and out. They're in and out quick. So that's why you have to make sure that you're posting 5 days a week, company page and personal page, because you never know when they're going to come across you. You want to make sure that you're connecting with them. Like, this is everything that I talk about on this channel, and all of our content is all focused to technical sales and industrial marketing people. Now, in the future, will we bring in some different industries? Possibly. But for right now, and for the last few years, this is what I've been talking about, to provide as much value as possible, to be able to give people information that nobody else out there is talking about. Because we market to purchasing, operations, engineering, plant managers, everything under the sun. Some sales and marketing people, CEOs, presidents, COOs, all the time, every single day, for our customers and for ourselves. So we've got a lot of data to support why we do what we do. But if you're not paying attention to it, you're going to miss it. But you have to understand, like, sales is not just sales. Same thing with marketing. Most people are not searching for agencies like ours because they don't know that we exist. Look for that piece of information. Look for that little nugget of knowledge that you're going to learn, and then take it back home in your brain and apply it to your specific situation and try and make moves and changes and domination from there. We appreciate all of the attention you guys are giving us. Hopefully you got a couple laughs out of this episode. Go to YouTube, follow me on YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on LinkedIn, consume that content. If you guys need something, you let us know. If you want a specific video to answer a specific question, you want me to talk about a subject for 22 minutes, I can do it. So follow me on everything, basically. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go there, because you get special secrets and you get new content that nobody else is going to see on any other platform, because Instagram is special like that with their systems. And as always, we will see you on the next one.